So how many days were you there, Ms. Burns?
I was 2 days at the Tabulations and Election Center and 1 day at a poll center, poll watching.
Which was first?
The Tabulations and Elections, 2 days there.
The 2 days at the Tabulation Center?
Yes.
And then after that at the
At
election?
the poll, the first day of early voting.
So at the Tabulation Center, most of the time it was hard for you to see anything.
I wasn't sure what my purpose was.
And you were there to make observations of the examination of the mail-in ballots, weren't you?
Correct.
To see if they were appropriate,
Right.
filled out, whether the signature looked right, address there, name there. Did you ever get to see any one of them?
Not one.
Not one.
Not one.
So how many people in this center?
In the ballot processing room, there were approximately 90 tables, and it was a gymnasium-sized room. And the first day I was there, there might have been maybe 50 to 60 people in the room, 50 to 60 tables with 2 people at each table. The next day I went was during the week, and it was also the day when the press was coming, so all the tables were quite full.
So how many Republican observers were there in addition to you?
We were allowed 1 Republican and 1 other party in the room. That's it.
For the entire room?
For the entire room. And I made the mistake after lunch of going into the room, not knowing that somebody else had been assigned to that room, and I was told to leave.
And you were expected to cover 90 tables?
Yes.
And you were the only thing that stood between their cheating and our having some assurance that they weren't cheating.
Absolutely.
They could have been doing anything to those ballots they wanted to, correct?
Correct.
They could be accepting ballots that had no signatures.
Correct.
They could be selecting ballots that had 50 of the same signatures.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
They could have been taking ballots they had written up before and put them in there.
Well, I found it interesting in the ballot processing room that, and I did forget to say this earlier, tubs of ballots came in, and they were all rubber banded, but they were already opened. And so that when each table got their tub of, I think it was 250 ballots.
They were all open?
They were all opened. They had already been opened. And I did ask somebody, where do these ballots come from? Who opens them? And she said, they come from the mailroom. And I started to ask another question. And one question was about our limit that we were allowed to ask. When I started to ask another question, she walked away from me. So they were all open.
This was sort of kind of like the approach of your governor and secretary of state. See no evil, right? Feel no evil. Just ignore it. So the ballots came in a tub. Did the other ballots come in a tub? Did ballots usually come in a tub?
Well, they had been through this mail room, wherever that was.
The normal ballots that were coming in, what did they come in? What were they carried in?
They were like those tubs with the handles, the shallow tubs that were handled, and they were rubber band.
But they were sealed, the normal ones. No, I say that the normal ones that came in were sealed.
We have no way of knowing. Nobody ever observed them coming into the mail rooms, or when they were opened, or by whom they were opened, or if anybody accessed those.
Well, when you saw the ballots being brought to the tables, could you see whether they were open or closed?
They were all opened. They were already all of them.
All the ballots were open that you saw.
The people at the tables would open them up, pull the ballot, check the number on the ballot and the envelope so that they coincided. They would separate them. They would have their pile of ballots and the envelopes, and at that point they were separated.
So they didn't really have to open the envelope. Theoretically, they had to just check it, take out the secure. I mean, let's describe it to people. It's an outer envelope, and that has the name, address, the district in which they're voting, and a signature.
Right.
That's how you identify it.
Right.
The inner envelope is called a secure envelope.
There was one envelope. It was the green envelope. There are not 2 envelopes. There's just the one.
Wait. There was just one envelope
One envelope.
and a ballot inside?
Yes.
A naked ballot inside. Not in a secure envelope.
No, there were not two envelopes. Maybe correct? The green envelope is the only envelope that we have.
Well, no, there's
and we
supposed to
signed.
be a
There were
secure
not two-
envelope inside because
No.
your ballot is supposed to be anonymous.
There were not two envelopes. There was one envelope. It
Well,
was
that
a
may
green.
explain why they were open.
Right. They went through some sort of a system where they opened them. But we signed the back of our envelopes, and on the front of that envelope is the mailing address to the county.
Did you do a mail-in vote?
Did I personally? I hand carried mine and put it
But
in.
was it a mail-in vote?
Yes.
Well, was there an envelope you had to put the ballot in?
Yes, a green envelope, one envelope.
One envelope and the naked ballot.
Correct.
No other
No
envelope.
duplicate. And in other states that I have lived in,
Yes.
there
Yeah,
were
well, that's
two
why I'm confused.
envelopes.
Okay. So when it came in, it was open already,
Yes,
and all they did was separate it.
right?
Did they look at the back of the envelope?
No, because the envelopes are, I believe, are scanned in, and the signature verification room is where that number that is on the envelope coincides with the signature, and those are scanned in. So my understanding is that in the signature verification room, they do not know anything that's on the ballot. They only have the signature, and they are checking it against other signatures, driver's license, previous voting.
Did you see that done?
That's what I was trying to see in the signature
you ever get
verification.
to see it?
Just that one gentleman who was doing low confidence and then switched to high confidence.
And you were the only Republican doing that too.
I was the only one in that
So if you
room.
weren't doing it, nobody else was.
Correct.
So that was all being done secretly. Well, secretly meaning without any Republican observers.
Right. Because the rest of the room was full. There were maybe 14 computers there,
So-
and it was full. And they were all, I couldn't see any of
So
them.
how
The
many
screens were
of these
blank.
ballots would you estimate went into the vote without a Republican getting a chance to even glimpse at the envelope?
As much as I would like to answer that, I can't even
just-
guesstimate. It was an entire
How
afternoon.
long were you there?
I was there 2 afternoons,
For how long each afternoon?
4 hours.
And how many ballots could they do in an hour?
Well, this was interesting. Some of them would click, 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 click without really looking at them. They would just sort of glance at it and go on to the next one and go on to the next one. There was one gentleman that seemed a little more intent on actually looking at the signatures that he was comparing to, and he would take maybe 10 or 15 seconds per signature. But some of them just kept clicking and clicking and clicking.
And how many of these tables were doing it?
Well, the first day I was there, I believe there were 8 computers, 8
Okay.
different people. There might have even been 8 to 9 people. The second day, I believe the room holds almost 20 people, and it was pretty full.
Pretty much 20 people?
Yeah.
So were they doing one a minute?
Oh, no, seconds. Oh, one.
One
per-
every 2 or 3 seconds?
Well, one gentleman was clicking and clicking and clicking. I'm not sure what he was looking at, but he wasn't looking too.
What do you think would be a good estimate? One per?
An estimate probably would be one every, maybe 8 to 10 seconds.
Okay, let's say 10 seconds. One per
Okay,
10
so
seconds.
6 per.
And how many hours were you there?
I was there 4 hours. So
4 hours.
He's doing the math,
4 hours the first day when you had the 8 to 9,
right?
and then 4 hours the second day when you had the 20 people.
Correct.
And that was the day the press was there.
Right.
Gee, how did I know that?
That was in the ballot processing room, though. They
were
were
they all
not in
dressed?
the-
Were they all dressed up better? And
Pardon?
Were they all dressed up better when the press was there and had more makeup on?
A couple of them, yes.
Just wondering.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, that's a lot of ballots that you didn't get to examine.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of fraudulent ballots to stuff in a day, in 2 days.
But that was just 2 days.
Have you realized the enormity of the cheating that was going on in front of you? Do you have any sense of the... I mean, these are going to amount to thousands of votes that were put into the system without any opportunity for the opposition to observe them, which the law demands and fairness requires.
I went home that night, and I could not stop thinking about what I had seen.
Couldn't.
I was so disturbed by it. I contacted Gina Swoboda, who was my contact person and arranged for me to observe. And I texted her. She asked me to write an email. And then I got very specific in my email. I was so disturbed by what I had seen. I went into this in good faith that people did the right thing. And that's not what I saw. I've never had the opportunity to provide a civic service like this before, and I was truly astounded at what I saw. And the way people were polite, but the way I was treated. Go sit over there. I was at that black curtain, and the closest table to me was further away than I am from that black curtain.
And you did this for no compensation. And tell us the reason again you did it.
I did it because I'm a retired university professor, and I wanted to be involved in this process. I believe in our country. I believe in this process.
Thank you.
And I'm so disappointed in what I saw.
You're shocked.
I was shocked, absolutely shocked. And at first I thought, maybe it's me. I've not done this before. I don't really know specifically what I should be looking for, but it didn't feel right. I didn't know what it really meant, but it didn't feel right. And the way things appeared, especially in the signature verification room, really disturbed me.
I'm very sorry for what happened to you.
Well,
it shouldn't happen in America.
That
should happen in China or Venezuela.
Well, that's why I'm here today.
Well, maybe you'll make it back into America. Help us become America again.
I would like to. Thank you. Thank you.